Good Monday morning to you all. This is Mitch. Hope you all are having a great start to your day and a great start to your work week. Going to give you an update on what could happen today weather-wise for your Monday, May the 16th. I am expecting some pretty active weather today, severe storms for a heavily populated area of the Northeast and the areas of the Mid-Atlantic. I'm talking about damaging winds and a tornado threat. Damaging winds is probably going to be the biggest threat today, but all hazards on the table, so we need to watch out on what's going to develop today as severe weather is ongoing right now. Not necessarily severe weather, but there is some strong storms that could go severe here in the next hour or two, so we need to watch out for that as the atmosphere destabilizes. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. I make 2 videos a day, so I try to keep y'all as up to date as possible. Like the video if you like it. If you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it, and it gives a whole lot of others an opportunity to do so too, and it's an opportunity to glorify God doing it. So let's get rocking and rolling this morning. So right now, this could change, this could broaden, this could shrink, this could go to a moderate risk. I'm just not sure, but as of right now, this is what we got going on. An enhanced risk, which is a level 3 out of 5, that's a pretty big deal. And once you start to get above slight, that really is eye-catching, and it's really something we need to watch out for. So an enhanced risk stretching for all the way to north central interior New York State, all the way down to areas of eastern Virginia. This includes everybody in between, the areas of the Delmarva area, Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia, almost New York City, Scranton, the entire central and eastern areas of Pennsylvania. So it includes some heavily populated areas. So this is something we need to watch out for today. And I really think a nasty line of storms is going to develop sometime early this afternoon and track east and affect a lot of people. There's a slight risk that extends all the way from North Carolina all the way to the Canadian-U.S. border up here in New York State. So, a lot of people are going to see severe weather today. You got the marginal risk that extends pretty much all the way to the northeast to the deep south to the Gulf Coast. So some strong to severe storms could pop up in this area of a level 1 out of 5, which is that marginal risk. Then you got a slight risk over here, including areas of the Panhandle, Oklahoma, Texas, and then areas of eastern New Mexico where some supercells can fire up. We'll talk a little bit about that. So really the tornado threat, 5% risk, up 25 miles in any given location in this enhanced risk. It's a pretty substantial area. 5%, I know you think, okay, that's not a big deal, but you never know when you're going to be that 5% chance. So the wind threat is the biggest threat, where a line of storms is going to develop. It's going to congeal very quickly from any energy that gets going here. There's already a line of storms moving through areas of western Pennsylvania, but there is a 45% chance of wind damage occurring at 25 miles at any given point in this purple area, that 45% region, and then a 30% region around it. That's pretty large, guys. This covers some pretty big cities and towns and heavily populated areas. So, this is going to be active today. You're going to see a lot of things posted on social media, and you're going to get a lot more reports due to the fact there's just more people in this area. So watch out. Today, there's also a threat for damaging winds down here in areas of Texas and New Mexico, and then hail threat is there also, but just a general 15% risk. So we need to watch out for hail also. So if you look at this in basically the water vapor loop on what's going on here, you already got convection right here, and I'll show that on radar scope here in a second. And this will re-energize as basically this trough, a cold front, continues to sink or move eastward, and basically a shortwave low pressure is going to develop and kind of ride the U.S.-Canadian border and eventually just all out moving to southeast Canada. And with that is going to bring prime atmosphere, overlapping of dynamics of thermodynamics, kinematics, and basically put a sector of dangerous weather into the interior northeast and mid-Atlantic today, which will be right here. So, if we look at radar scope right now, this is ongoing. Nothing is severe, but you have a line of stronger storms that's moving its way into Pittsburgh at this hour, and it's moving through areas of West Virginia, and it's knocking on the door of the western tip of Maryland. So this will continue to enter this atmosphere right here, which will destabilize throughout the afternoon hours, even down here into Washington State, not Washington State, but Washington, D.C., Baltimore, in areas of Maryland in general and northern VA. So we need to watch out for that a little bit later this afternoon. It definitely is looking likely to happen. And let's just take a look at the HRRR model, at a much closer look, right off the dot with the area of most concern. And we'll get this rolling here. We're getting into the later morning hours, getting into about midday. What's left over of this energy will begin to intensify all the way up here, into interior areas of New York State, all the way down here through central PA, and then starting to move through eastern PA, and then even all the way down here into Maryland. Watch out Baltimore, Washington, D.C. as we get into the early afternoon hours. I think this will be, the early afternoon hours I think this is when we'll have the best chance for a tornado to happen, when basically you have whatever leftover energy, which is, stretching from New York State all the way to Washington, D.C. and northern VA, Virginia, which will be kind of semi-discrete, meaning there'll be kind of segments in this line of storms that could potentially can get going and produce a quick tornado, as the dynamics are there somewhat for tornadic potential. This will be like, I believe, maybe a 1 to 2 hour window of a tornado to be produced sometime early to mid this afternoon. And then quickly, I think this turns into a nasty line of storms stretching from the same areas all the way up to Syracuse, New York, all the way down here into northern VA, starting to move into the Delmarva area. And then this will become a damaging wind threat around 2 to 5 p.m. somewhere in eastern PA especially. And this will continue to track and probably be very intense for about, 2 to 4 hours. And then it'll eventually move into the Hudson Valley, New Jersey. It'll move into Delaware as we get a little bit late this afternoon around the 4 to 5, 6 p.m. And then it'll probably roll right through New York City, probably, early this evening, and then probably pack a punch. I think it'll probably lose some of its intensity as we get into probably the evening hours, but it'll still pack a punch. So in a nutshell here, please watch out for damaging winds in all these areas right in here. It's going to be some nasty storms, and then another secondary line can develop probably along the cold front that could also produce some severe weather. So we really have to watch out for this a little bit later today. If you look at a little bit further to the east in southern New England, we get into this region of the country, and I really think as we get into the evening hours, as the sun's going down, I think this area will begin to lose some steam as it knocks on the door of Boston, probably around midnight or so, maybe a couple hours earlier. It'll turn to more just heavy rain, maybe some showers and storms. But in general, today, we need to watch out for this. This is a more broader look, looking at the entire, Northeast as a whole. And, storms, erupt through this area. It'll be pretty intense in northern areas of New York State, too, where you have an enhanced risk. I didn't mention that in a closer look. But some of these storms are going to be nasty up here, too, even in the mountainous areas. And this will continue. And this line of storms will stretch all the way. This secondary line of storms will stretch all the way down into Virginia. So we need to pay attention to this a little bit later today for sure. And this begins to lose some steam as we get into the late evening hours for sure. But, as far as the wind threat today, watch out just along this line of storms. That's 40, maybe as much as 50 mile per hour wind gusts associated with this line of storms, which is that line of storms I just showed you on the HRRR model. So this is where we watch out for. I know this doesn't look that intimidating at all, but I'm telling you, you're going to have some wind damage with this, which an area that has just more trees, a heavily populated area, you're going to see a lot more reports of damage today than if something like this was happening maybe in the plains or something like that. So, it's going to get pretty intense today, and it could get intense in New Jersey later this afternoon too. So please be careful, as there's heavily populated areas in that region, and then it'll just get kind of breezy behind this line of storms. So we need to watch out for this today. There's going to be some spin-ups, I think, early this afternoon in central Pennsylvania, interior areas in New York State, and then very quickly in eastern PA and eastern sections of these regions. I think it quickly goes into a damaging, wind threat as opposed to a tornado threat, and it loses that tornado threat. Not completely, but a good bit. For the Southeast, my folks in the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, I think there'll be a chance for some storms today, but in coverage, basically the more southwest you go, the less in coverage this gets. You might, see a pop-up shower and storm in Mississippi, Alabama, especially southern sections of these regions, but altogether, I really think the most intense coverage of storms will be later this evening, and it'll likely be in North Carolina, maybe far eastern and northeast areas of South Carolina. In fact, you get a little bit closer look at this, and here it is. I think along the cold front, you could have a nasty line of storms that develops kind of around Raleigh and then moves southeast throughout the evening hours, and then maybe some pop-up showers and storms that develops also along the frontal boundary that moves through the Carolinas and could produce some, damaging winds, maybe some small hail. Tornado threat not likely at all down here in this region, as you lack just the overlapping of all the dynamics you need for a tornado threat. But damaging wind threat will be, not significant, but will be elevated in this region where any storms do get going, which I think there will be a line of storms in eastern North Carolina a little bit later this evening. Temperatures behind the trough, you got spring type temperatures in the Ohio Valley. In fact, it'll be downright chilly in northern sections of Minnesota and Michigan and Wisconsin, where temperatures will not probably get out the 40s and 50s. But, south of the boundary, where you're not being influenced by these clouds and basically the cold air that the trough brings, 80s and 70s, a spring-like day. But, in front of the front, you're going to warm into the 90s, the 80s, high humidity. It's going to be uncomfortable. For sure, especially in the southeast today, where we'll get very warm and probably kind of humid today, for sure. But Texas remains hot. You guys have been pretty hot over the last week. In the south central U.S., there's going to be some pop-up showers and storms. I think there's going to be some pop-up supercells in this area, and I think you'll have a damaging wind threat. Any supercells that do form in this area will quickly, very quickly, within an hour or so, develop into a line of storms, and damaging winds will probably be the biggest threat in this region for sure, so we need to watch out for that. But, this will blast through the panhandle, and I don't really think it's going to be that big of a deal. I really don't think it will be. For the north central U.S., the Midwest, the Corn Belt, places like that, pretty quiet weather. Not a whole lot going on as far as moisture, maybe some showers sneak into South Dakota and North Dakota. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. For my folks out west, the only thing to really talk about is the fact that a little bit later this afternoon, low pressure rides the base of a trough setting out west that will set the stage for more severe weather, I think, tomorrow, which will probably be a bigger deal. So a little bit of moisture, maybe even some storms will get going in Montana a little bit later today and this afternoon. And then that leftover energy, like I said, will get into North Dakota and South Dakota, but maybe some storms in Montana today. Everywhere else, maybe some showers, but the desert Southwest really begins to heat up. And as far as temperatures, here's your temperatures, pretty warm day for everybody. Everybody's pretty much above average temperature-wise. The plains of Colorado, Wyoming, you guys are getting into the 80s, close to 90, especially in Colorado, 70s for Montana, 80s and 70s for Nevada, even warm up here in the Northwest, where you guys will be a little bit cooler compared to everybody else. But in general, nothing too crazy out west. So that's all I got, guys. Stay tuned tonight. I'll have you an evening update. We'll talk a little bit more about the tropics and what I'm thinking, and just talk about the next day also. God bless all y'all. Have a great Monday, and I'll talk to y'all soon.